just issued tornado warning in effect. So for now, let's treat it seriously. The most dangerous place to be would be on a vehicle in northern Columbia or northwestern Baker County. We're talking north of Lake City, or we're talking well to the north of McClenny. But I do want to note that this line of thunderstorms stretches from Brunswick through Folkston and then on down through Live Oak and Lake City, and within about an hour to 2 hours, this line of thunderstorms will be working into the Jacksonville metropolitan area. Now, that is not me saying that we're going to be dealing with other tornado warnings. I just want to let you know that for the first time in a couple weeks, some of us are going to have some pretty heavy rains. We'll get some gusty winds to about 40 miles per hour. But nonetheless, this is the tornado warning. Northern Columbia and Baker County. For those of you new to the area and you live, let's say, in Nassau, Duval, northern St. Johns, northern Clay County, this storm system is about an hour away from you. And I know we're right during the time when buses are out there taking students home, parents are out there picking the kids up. So in the Jacksonville metropolitan area, about an hour before these heavier rains move in. But for those of you in northwest Baker and northern Columbia County, again, this is a tornado warning, so let's take it seriously. I'm looking at the Doppler here, and this is just a way to try to pinpoint where maybe something significant. We call it a tornadic signature, a wind damage signature. I don't see it. We'll keep a close watch on it. We're going to get a little more hyper-focused in just a bit there over Columbia and Baker County. This is on what's called the VIL, the Vertical Integrated Liquid, and it really points out what we already know. That is, if you don't know anything else, within this area of heavy rain, look at where the lightning is. That's where the most intense storms. And there's a little bit of lightning over northeastern Canada, but notice the only thunderstorm complex even putting out lightning is this thunderstorm complex, in fact, heading toward northern Columbia and Baker County. These particular VIL levels, from our experience, doesn't indicate an intensifying storm, but for now, again, let's take it serious. Northern Columbia and Baker County. There's a broader look at the overall wind flow. So what's happening is, you see this flow out of the northwest? That's the cold front. This is the warmer air. Winds at 18. We're getting some gusts to about 25 miles per hour. Normally not indicative of severe storms, but we could always have just the right or wrong combination, depending on how you look at it, right where the winds are coming together. And that's what's happening. Right where the northwest winds are meeting the southwest winds, and above it, we have what's called a shot of energy at about 30,000 feet, and that's triggering these thunderstorms. Most of that energy will race off to the northeast, but certainly, obviously, it's come together, that energy anyhow, for a pretty strong thunderstorm complex. Again, the tornado warning in effect. There's the shading there, northern Columbia and Baker County. I'm going to get out of the way so you can check that out, and we will work the Doppler to see if we can just pick out here where the strongest of the storms is. Again, the more intense colors where you can see the stronger storms, but we're going to zoom in and notice the strongest storms are to the... Notice passing to the north of, well to the north of White Springs, well to the northwest of Sanderson and McClenny. And we're going to, let's slow this down and we'll just stop it. So probably the storm with the potential at least for a tornado is going to be the cell. We call these discrete. That is, it's located away from the line of storms and right in here. So if there's going to be actual wind damage from this, it's called a potential tornado, or at least funnel, it's going to be in that area here. Now this is going to continue to head off to the east and to the northeast at about, we look at the mean winds, and those are the winds at about 10 to 20,000 feet. And right now those winds are at about the average, the mean, that's what I mean by mean, are about 40 miles per hour. So therefore, I notice how that lines up pretty good with the tornado warning. So this is really rural country, and we can't even pick out towns there. So that's good news. For now, the tornado warning in an area that is not too populated, but again, we don't want to advise anyone to do any driving. For the few that are up there, I'll tell you what, we'll continue on. Let's see if we can check it out. There you see the heavier rains. I'm going to go to the Doppler and what we call the velocity, and I'll try to zoom in there as well. We can we can be some forecasters together here, folks. Again, for those of you who just joined us, a tornado warning in effect for northern Columbia and northwestern Baker County. And we're just doing some analysis here together. I'm trying to slow this down to see if we can pick up a signature. Now, the fact that we can't find a signature, that's good news. Your classic tornadoes, and I mean that by definition, those are the ones that cause the damage. And if they're tough to pick out, that's probably a good sign. I don't see too much showing up there. So now we're going to go to the VIL. Again, this is called the vertical integrated liquid. And so this is not showing us the rain. I want to make sure we understand that. I'm just looking for where the strongest storms are. And the strongest storms would actually be indicating, you see the deeper greens there? We'd actually be looking for deeper reds and magentas, which we just don't see, which again is good news. So let's stop this. And the strongest, notice the lightning off to the northwest, but the cell that we were watching on, the velocity and the vertical integrated liquid shows right up here. And I suspect that's easier to pick out if you're watching that on whatever kind of screen you're watching. And the motion, mean motion, is going to be about like this. And again, we'll try to pick out some areas within the tornado warning that we can name. Let's say that this cell continues for another 36 minutes. So here's some areas within the line of the strongest portion of the cell. Now the tornado warning, at least at this point, is expected to expire at 3:30. The tornado warning goes until 3:30. So, but let's say the cell survives longer than that. Then for those of you down around Taylor School toward Clarking, that would be 3:28 to 3:38. Let's expand the picture, and let's say that the thunderstorm complex that is showing us the signature that has caused the need for their tornado warnings. So let's just say the cell stays together for a little bit longer. And let's move it into Nassau and northern Duval. So again, I'm not saying that there's going to be a tornado into Nassau or northern Duval, but this thunderstorm complex will get into southwestern Nassau and then even areas of Jacksonville's north and northwest side by about 4 to 4:20. So that is within about an hour, hour and 10 minutes. In fact, what we'll do here is let's expand out to, again, the winds. We talked about the contrast. I'll show you that contrast again. Notice there's the northwest winds, not all that strong, and then we see the southwest winds. That's the trigger that's producing the thunderstorms and the potential severe weather. And that trigger mechanism lines up about like this, and it also is moving east at about 40 miles per hour. So if you're just wondering, when will the wind shift come through my area with heavy rains, or at least potentially heavy rains, there you see a few of the times. Brunswick, 440, that would be downtown Jacksonville, 540, 620 Ponte Vedra. Now, I do want to add, sometimes these storms cause storms to form in front of the storms, which I think is what's going to happen. So the times that I just showed you are probably actually a little slow. In fact, I think we can point that out here. So here's the main line of storms coming in from the northwest. But then preceding it, because of the heat, notice we have storms developing in front of it. And that's what's going to happen. We'll see storms developing in front of. So therefore, I think a better time frame for when the strongest thunderstorms will move through different locations will be right about there. I think Siri is trying to talk to me, and I don't want that to interrupt with what we have going on here. So yeah, I think this probably is a better this is a better look at when some of the heavier storms will be moving in almost really within the next 30 minutes from Brunswick to western Duval on into Live Oak and Lake City. And it could clear even the St. Augustine area as early as about 5 to 10. That would be on the earlier storms. But let's go to the tornado warning. Remember, the tornado warning is in effect for northern Columbia, northwestern Baker County. In fact, that tornado warning has been shaved. It's a little bit smaller. I'll take the radar. So there's the tornado warning. And again, the lightning indicating where possibly the strongest storm is. Let me expand the picture here for those of you. Okay, so there's the tornado warning. So again, for those of you in Lake City, although you hear Columbia County, that is well to the north of you. This particular cell will not impact those of you in Lake City. This particular cell will not impact those of you in McClenny or in Sanderson. That this particular cell is primarily going to continue to move. In fact, I'll move it along here. I suspect Columbia County will soon be out of the tornado warning, and this particular cell will be moving about in this direction. So there's a few other locations. St. George, we're watching this for you, maybe about by 3:50. Ratliff by about 4:10 or so. Again, that is for the tornado warning that remains in effect until 3:30. This is just radar indicated. I promise you, we will get back to the programs you were watching if you were watching one of our programs. Otherwise, you might be watching on some of our platforms as soon as the tornado warning is issued. But it is our responsibility to continue to talk about these tornado warnings as long as they're up. And officially, it's up until 3:30. But I also want to emphasize that it's radar indicated to let you know it's not like we imminently know there is a tornado on the ground out here. Incidentally, as I'm showing you these times, you follow the lightning. I've taken the radar out so you can just follow the lightning. That's another way if you want to do your own analysis. That's where the stronger storm's in. Okay, I'm going to add the radar, and there it is. So there's the rain and the thunderstorms, and there's a look with the Doppler and what we call the velocity and the VILs. And I'm just hopping around with you folks so we can try to get a better signature on this. And again, it's good news. The fact that it's tough to find a signature here of a tornado, that is fantastic news. Now, I will zoom in right here, and I'm going to slow it down. Let's just see what's been happening over the last 15 minutes. We could actually than that last 30 or so. And I'll paint it for you. So right in here, it looks like we do have a couple cells that might be coming together. So this is the area that if there's going to be a tornado, then it's going to be in this location right here. And the reason you don't see any towns showing up is that is how rural of an area this is. I mean, this is even rural for Baker and Northern Columbia. We'll zoom in a little bit closer. And we just don't have any signatures there. And of course, that is all good news. So for those of you that really know the area, we're talking about a cell that potentially is producing a tornado just to the north of Sand Mill Road up there in northwest Baker County and far northern Columbia County. And the nearest airs, because we're also talking about, for those of you who have spent any time camping or whatnot, we're talking about areas northeast of the Spirit of the Swanee. We're talking about the Osceola National Forest. That is the Osceola National Forest. If you've driven any through I-10, you see all those pine trees. Part of that is the Osceola National Forest. Let's just pull out a little bit to get a better perspective. Again, I'm trying hard to show you a signature here of the tornado, and we just don't have it, at least not that is fantastic. If there's anything showing up at all as a signature, it is right about in here. And so this supports all that we've been talking about. So let's say that there's rotation. Let's say there's a funnel. That has not been reported, but let's say there's a funnel. If there's a funnel within the cell, it's probably located right about here, and that funnel will be moving along about in this direction for the next 40 minutes or so. So how about if we say that? So that is certainly not me trying to cause panic there in Taylor or Baxter or at the church at all. I'm just simply saying if in all of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia, you hear about the tornado warning over northern Columbia and northwest Baker County, that if there's an area where, you know what, let's just play it safe and let's just make sure us, the family, the kids, everybody's away from windows, this is where I would do it. It would be worthwhile, and I think within the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to be able to give the all clear as far as any wind damage is concerned. Again, the tornado warning goes in effect until 3:30. Okay, so for those of you new to the area, again, their tornado warning in effect for Baker and Columbia. But again, it is for far northern Baker and far northern Columbia County and far northwestern Baker County. And we're checking out other areas of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia. So although this is the heightened area of concern, remember that where the wind shift is hitting the southwest winds, that's going to be on the move. And so that will be coming into the Jacksonville metropolitan area. So here's a big look at the picture. We'll zoom in now. So this is the line of storms that's causing the issuance of the tornado warning. And within these heavy rains, it's a solid line of rain, folks, now moving through Brunswick, into Camden County, into Nassau County. We'll zoom in a little bit more now. So although I think most of us will not have to worry about damaging winds, be prepared for the first time in a couple weeks, heavy rains. And here they are. And they've now moved through Folkestone, covering just about all of Camden County, spreading pretty rapidly now from west to east through Nassau County, and this will be into the Jacksonville metropolitan area within the next 45 minutes or so. Heavy rain and some lightning and some wind gusts to about 40 miles per hour. Where you see some of the indication here, do you see they call it convergence, where thunderstorms are coming together? So that's the most powerful portion of the storm, and that does support the tornado warning. There it is. So the tornado warning continues to effect. Now we're just talking about northeastern Columbia County and northwestern Baker County. And the good news here, notice we have not moved the tornado warning any farther off to the east. So that shows support for the idea that we're not getting confirmation of any observations of a tornado on the ground, and we're not getting indications on radar from others that these storms are intensifying. Continue to check it out with the Doppler. Still strong storms and certainly some indication of a strong storm at any time. Certainly these storms can produce a tornado, and that's really, I would say, the potential concern for these storms is that they might just produce a tornado on the ground for 5 or 10 minutes. But of course, if you or your loved ones are aware that 5 or 10 minute occurrence happens, then it could be a tragic situation. We just want to make sure that's not going to happen. So how do we keep that from happening? We're going to zoom in, and I'm certainly not saying that everybody who is going to get wet needs to treat this to where, I'm not saying you should not be on the roadways, but let's say you want to play it safe, and not only are you, if you're in a building in that tornado warning area, get away from windows. But let's say you're farther off to the east and southeast. For instance, this line of heavier thunderstorms is going to continue to advance about like this. So these are all the areas that will be hit over the next hour. But within that region, who, at least with this particular cell, would be most concerned about possibly there being some wind damage or possibly a brief tornado? It's really going to be, in my opinion, even a little farther to the east now of what we're showing for the tornado warning. I think, and you might be able to see where those storms are coming together. I think right about there and these points east and southeastward for about the next 40 minutes. So maybe that helps. That amidst this whole area of rain showers and thunderstorms, that if this concern is going to go beyond a 330, again, we've been pointing out Taylor School in Kenny, Stokesville. We're talking about these smaller towns in northern Baker County. I think at least with this particular tornado warning, this keeps the concern north of Sanderson, north of McClenny, starts getting into areas of northwestern Duval as well. So why don't we zoom in there and we'll look at it from that perspective. And we'll take some of this, take some of the noise out. So there's Baldwin. There's the northwestern portion of the tornado warning. So let's get a little hyper focused here. So what's this mean for those in Duval and Nassau County? So when I talk about convergence, it's right in here where it seems like we do have some cells coming together. You see that? So let's say that is the cell of concern. It's just about out of what we're calling the tornado warning now. So let's just call it the cell of concern. So beyond 330, where is that going to go? That is probably going to continue to track along almost due east. we're really averaging here. The cells are heading northeastward, but the line is headed southeastward, so we sort of get a mean direction to the east. Hopefully that makes some sense. And I'm moving the cell eastward at about 40 miles per hour. So that's about where the cell would be. So that particular cell would pass to the north of Baldwin. Notice within about 40 minutes, it would be getting into, in Duval County, northwestern portions of 295, and then getting in toward areas like the airport and the Amazon facility, and then also into areas approaching Trout River and Ribault and that portion of northwestern Jacksonville. But again, folks, I want to emphasize the tornado warning is only for northeastern Columbia and northwestern Baker. I'm just trying to move this along that in case the cell stays together, where will additional concerns be? At the very least, just think of it as, if you're wondering where will some of the heaviest rains and the possibility of some lightning be with this particular cell, that is where it is going to be over about the next 40 minutes. But again, that is looking at that particular cell. We haven't had any indications of severe weather in other areas. So for the rest of us, I really think we should just focus on pretty much what we talked about yesterday, that for the first time in 2 weeks, we have some heavier rains on the way. There will be some lightning. Not all of us will have the lightning. And there will be the potential for possibly some winds gusting, for over about 40 miles per hour. I'm trying to check this out in all areas. We call this the radar velocity because what we're looking at is the particulates in the air. Which way are they moving? Are they moving toward the radar site or away? And that helps us determine then if there's some spin. And again, maybe support for something coming out of Columbia into Baker County. And that is about it. Now we're on to the VIL stands for, by the way, vertical integrated liquid. And it's just a way for us to show not necessarily where the rain is. The rain is in a larger area here, but where is the most lift? Maybe that makes sense. Where is the most lift? And I think you can picture that where's the most lift is, then there probably potentially could be the most spin. Kind of like you have your fireplace, you have the chimney, but it's not until you open up that vent that fire can really breathe. So that's really what the VIL is doing. It's, where is the vent opened? The vent's opened here, it's opened here, vent's opened up here. But again, in a relative sense, for instance, if this was summer, none of these would be more than an average thunderstorm, if that makes sense. That's not me not taking this serious. Any tornado warning we're taking serious, but I just want to put this in perspective to what you'd be dealing with during the summer. Again, the winds, showing the winds out of the southwest and then winds out of the northwest, but no surprise there, folks. That's just the cold front that we've been talking about that is on the way, and the cold front is coming in against the heat of the day. So the tornado warning has been canceled for Columbia County, but continues for Baker. So officially pretty much supports what we've talked about. So this cell that potentially could produce a tornado, any concern that was there for Columbia County is gone. I mean, I think you can picture it. Thunderstorm approaches, dark cloud approaches, that cool gust of air hits. We feel that numerous times around the area, right? Once that cool gust hits, your area is just about in the clear because remember that cool air is heavier and that's going to shut off the lift. What we're really doing as forecasters is we're trying to see where is the most organized lift that could cause spin, that could cause a tornado. And under this particular situation, it's going to be on the leading edge. So now northwestern Baker County, still under the tornado warning, but it probably doesn't take me to tell you, well, look where the leading edge is. The leading edge is really getting even beyond northwest Baker County. So I think we're just officially waiting for 3:30 to come, and at least this portion of Baker County will no longer be under the tornado warning. Now the question will be, and I think you can see it here, watch this cell come out of the southwest right there, and it meets this cell that's dropping toward the southeast. So I think it's right there where there will continue to be some potential for more lift. At the very least, as a forecaster, if you were a pilot and you were saying, hey, where is the strongest storm going to be? Where's the new storm going to be? That's really what we're trying to do as forecasters. Where will the new storms be? Because although this looks like a continuous event, it's not. thunderstorms are constantly forming, falling apart, and forming again. It's the new ones where the strongest lift is, and where if suddenly there's going to be a tornado, that's where it's going to be. And the new lift is going to be where you see this line dropping out of the northwest, heading to the southeast, and these cells coming out of the southwest and meeting. That's where the new lift would be. And I would say, notice where that is. That is already well to the east of where the tornado warning is. So let's go to the Doppler again. We'll continue to check it out. There's the vertical integrated liquid. And I'll tell you what, I'll get out of the way and we'll check it out some more with what we just called the VIL. I think it makes sense to call the VIL. It's for the vertical integrated liquid, don't you? So here we're going to zoom in here. And I'm going to check out a couple other cells too while we're here and we have some time together. So there we have some stronger cells now moving through Woodbine and Folkestone. So these are going to be getting into St. Mary's within about 15 minutes. There you see, this is what I mean by cells forming in front of the actual line. Look at the cell that is formed now between Ratliff and Hilliard. So this is going to be into Yulee within about 15-20 minutes. Now, you folks in Yulee, I'm not trying to panic you at all. I'm just letting you know that you're going to have your downpour here within about 10 minutes. So here's Duval, and here's Baldwin, and there's McClenny, and so there is the cell. Now, again, the leading edge of these cells are going to be the ones that could possibly produce the new lift. So they are jumping ahead of that line. So let's say that no new cells develop in front of these particular cells. Stretching through Sanderson, going to take you through McClenny and Baldwin, and there you see your times. Baldwin by 3:52. McClenny 3:40, so we're talking within about the next 10 to 20 minutes. Again, if you've just joined us, although there's a tornado warning for northwest Baker County, that is not me saying that you folks in McClenny and Baldwin have to worry about a tornado. I'm just saying that the strongest range you're going to have today will be within about 10 to 20 minutes or so. So if we expand the picture again, now these winds these are all from observation sites. So we do know that within the storms, we're getting some gusts to about 40 miles per hour. So again, I don't want to mislead you. These are simply winds from the observation sites. And all this is saying is none of the observation sites recently have had strong wind gusts. The strong wind gusts are going to be right within this line of cells that we're watching right in here. So they've cleared Jasper, heading in toward Lake City, and lined up pretty much through the first coast. I'm going to flatten this out, see if that makes it looks a little bit better there. So let's draw the line through all of the first coast. So for you folks in Brunswick, you've had your downpours. That's it. For those of you in Folkestone, your heaviest rains are now. Things will be improving within about 15 minutes or so. Why don't we slow this down to, now this is what's happened just over the last 30 minutes. There you see the line and the overall line. So think of that as the triggering mechanism. It stretches like this from Brunswick to Perry, and we'll just move it along. And there you see some of the times. So, and I think this looks pretty good. I think it could be that even for you folks down around Green Cove, as early as 6 o'clock, the heaviest storms that this cold front will offer you will be by about 6 p.m. But here's a look at everybody there from, again, clearing Glenn County. For you folks in Glenn County, you've had the strongest storms you're going to have, and that is it. For those of you up toward Waycross, that's it. For those of you up toward Live Oak, that is it. For those of you in Nassau County and Baker County, you're getting it now. In Duval County, northern and western Duval County, you'll be getting your downpours, potentially thunderstorm. What I mean by that is potentially some lightning within the next 10 to 30 minutes. For those of you over southeastern Duval, northern St. John's, northern Clay County, it's going to be more like within the next 30 minutes to an hour, and then you can continue to move it on down. So I'm continuing to hop around just to see if we see anything here. And I was talking about those storms converging. See if you see it here. So we see this cell come out of the southwest, right about there, and the line is coming out of the northwest, right about there. And so if there's going to be some new lift, it's going to be there. So if there's going to be a new warning, it's going to be pretty much what you'd expect, what you see there. It would be over far northeastern Baker County and southern Charlton County and maybe western Nassau County. But because we're just not getting indications of these storms intensifying, I am going to gather that this tornado warning will not be continued after 3:30. But we want to take it serious. For those of you that want to play it safe, and why not? Especially because, well, why not? For those of you in northern Baker County, stay away from windows. If you can, don't be on the roadways. That is northern Baker County. For Columbia County, I know you're getting heavy rains, but the tornado warning has ended. For the rest of us, I am certainly not trying to stress you out. All we're letting you know is that officially a tornado warning has been in effect since 3 o'clock. And for the rest of us, just know that heavy rains are dropping to the southeast. And the voice from above, that's actually my producer, folks, has let us know that officially the tornado warning is over. So let's just wrap it up by showing you what we have. So this is the cold front that we talked about really over the last couple of days. These are the showers and thunderstorms we've talked about over the last couple of days. Tornado warning no longer in effect. I can't completely guarantee there won't be others. Probably not, but we will keep you updated through the afternoon. And then, of course, at 5 o'clock through 7 to 7:30. We will be tracking these storms as they drop to the southeast. I know especially this time of the year, a lot of you have plenty of things that you just have to get done. So we'll be here to let you know when the storms are going to be strongest in your area. But maybe of the greatest help is we'll be here to let you know when the rain's going to come to an end. And it is. This is going to move through